Good afternoon. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, August 7th, 2024, 2 o'clock meeting. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
Do I? Let's see. If this is your first time here, we will take testimony from the applicant. We will then take testimony if there's any other interested parties. And it's kind of run, you present your case and the board will rest and we'll go forward after that. That's my remarks. We do have a court reporter that's here taking minutes full-time and is live streamed as well, so it can be reviewed. Everything is here. And this is the, what? Yes, speak into the microphone. They really don't pick up that well. Slowly, because she has to take it down. So, therefore,
Mr. Chairman, we have adjournment for this afternoon, case 531 through 24 through 532 24, Merrick, 60 Merrick Avenue, LLC, doing business as Rico's Pizza.
anyone having an interest in this case, come forward. Can I have your name and address for the record and the reason you're making the application for an adjournment?
Yes. Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony Architects, 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here today on behalf of 60 Merrick Avenue LLC, which is doing business as Rico's Pizza. They are requesting an adjournment today. They recently switched over to a new council about 72 hours ago. As a result, the traffic study has not yet been completed, and they are looking for more time for preparation.
That has nothing to do with the sign not being posted.
The sign was posted.
No, it was not yesterday. Not as of yesterday, there was no sign posted.
I'm assuming then they took it down, but they did procure a sign, but
No, I don't think so. And have you been to the property?
Yes, I have.
And how long has that outdoor dining been there since you're making an application as proposed outdoor dining?
I believe it's about just under a year. If I'm correct, it's about 10 months.
So Mark Anthony Associates did not submit an accurate application because it says proposed outdoor dining. It's already there.
I believe the Board of Zoning Appeals requested that we change it over to maintain.
It may have been proposed over yesterday because I spoke to Patrick and said that it's a maintain, not proposed.
Okay.
Just let Mr. Mark Anthony know that for one, I'm not happy that he did it this way.
Okay.
It should have been a sign posting, and it should have been as maintained outdoor dining. Also, the notice is very unclear, and you might want to speak with Patrick to find out more clearly what the notice is, because this is not strictly outdoor dining or interior alterations to the restaurant. There's another building or another portion of that building that appears to be retail use.
Yes, that's being handled on a separate application for a 99-cent store.
Why is that need a parking variance? Speak to Mark Anthony and let him speak with Mr. Owens. At any rate, we'll pick a date.
They asked for 60 days, if possible. I thought that it would be, based off where you guys are at.
October 23rd at 2 p.m. Does that work?
Perfect.
Now, you said you're going to propose a parking study?
I will not be, but council will, yes.
Okay, and tell your office that that has to be on file in this office 30 days prior to the October 23rd. And this also requires a sign posting? within the time frame which you're familiar with. And again, sit down with Mr. Owens and figure out if this retail use needs parking, because it got there somehow. Maybe it's a non-conforming building that didn't need parking.
The 99-cent store has been filed for. Dawn. Can you let the acting, whatever he's saying is, know that the 99-cent store, the retail store, is filed under that application? It's completely separate that he's talking about.
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any other adjournments for this afternoon. First, we'll call case 52824, Wanto American Legion, Post 1273. Maintain one detached double-face illuminated monument sign with LED message board not permitted. 46.67 square feet per face. Overall size 93.34 square feet. Setback 11 feet from Park Avenue, also known as 3484 Park Avenue.
John Minichino, 3637 Franklin Street, Wantor, New York.
George DiPatetto, 3725 Jules Lane, Wanto, New York.
Robert Benjamin, 3703 Jules Lane, Wantor, New York.
Yes, sir. We are seeking a variance for our electronic sign in front of our post. We have the same sort of sign that's right next door to us at the Wantor Fire Department. It's only about 100 feet away from our sign. And we're hoping to get a variance, and the sign does try to enlist new veterans to our post and advertises post functions to the neighborhood.
You're allowed to have 32 square feet, and you're proposing 93 square feet. And it has to be set back, it's proposed, required setback is 20 feet, and you're proposing 11 feet
Yes, sir.
with a height of 6 foot 6 inches. How often will the message change on the reader board?
Depending on functions at the post, most of the message stays the same for our rentals. That's how we survive on rentals. And we do have changes for trying to recruit veterans and post functions as far as parades and Patriots Day, which is coming up on September 11th for that.
So would there be any scrolling messages?
Yes.
Okay. That's something that we really don't permit, but they could, because it's an attraction, a detraction for motorists. As you can understand, driving and reading it at the same time. So that might be, would you consider it not scrolling, or you're going to leave that up to us?
Scrolling just pops up.
It doesn't scroll by, it comes on and off,
Okay.
actually.
That's different. I thought you meant the scrolling.
No,
No,
it
no.
comes
Okay.
on and
You're
off.
talking about a marquee?
Yes, you
No.
could call it that. I think, here's a picture of the sign. Okay. It's remiss in thanking you all for your service to our country. It's appreciated, and all the good work you do for the community. That being said, are there any questions from the board?
I move the hearing be closed, matter placed on the decision calendar. You will be notified by mail of the board's decision once rendered.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor, say,
Aye.
Next, we have cases 52924 through 53024, East Atlantic Beach, 88 Rochester Avenue, revocable trust by Vincent Cardulo as trustee. Variances, lot area, front width from and on street line to front setback line, lot area occupied, average front yard setback, side yards aggregate, construct three-story dwelling with balconies attached to dwelling, variances, side yard and rear yard, construct AC platform attached to dwelling, also known as 88 Rochester Avenue.
Vincent Cardulo, 88 Rochester Avenue, East Atlantic Beach, New York.
okay, so tell us what you're here for.
All right. Give you a little background. We are the second occupants of this house. The first occupant lived there from when the house was built in, I think, the 20s. He lived there until he was in his 90s, passed away. My wife, at the time, she was not my wife, but she rented the house in 2009, and we purchased the house in 2015. House was built in the 20s-ish. It's 800 square feet. The goal here is, well, we originally were in front of the board, got an approval to raise the house, and we were into that process. Had builders look at the prints and decided, our counsel from the builders said, hey, you're better off just knocking the house down and starting from scratch. So we did that, and that's why I'm here again in front of the board. The house is just for myself and my wife. We have grandkids, and the goal is to have enough room to have the grandkids over and their parents. We are in our 60s, and we live in the neighborhood. We love the neighborhood. We walk on the beach every day, pick up garbage on the beach, which that's one of the things that I enjoy doing. We love the neighborhood, and the plan is just to have enough room to have grandkids over and their parents. The house, the proposed house is in character with the other houses that have been raised in the neighborhood.
So the first floor or ground level floor is going to be storage only,
Storage parking, correct.
storage parking. What is- What's the overall height?
I don't know.
Neither do I. I have to find it here. It says 29.9 above freeboard. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's the grid. So it's just you and your wife and watch the grandchildren.
Plus the grandchildren, yes.
Probably 75.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So the actual first floor has 2 bedrooms, a living room, and a full bath?
I think the first floor has the master bath, master bedroom, that's going to be our living area, kitchen, living room. Above that is just 2 bedrooms and a living area. Okay, appreciate it.
So it's a 3-bedroom house.
It will be. Currently, I think we're about 800 square feet. It's a small 2-bedroom. I like to call it a shack. My wife gets upset with that, but
Is there anything else you want to add?
we're both pretty close to retiring. My wife's a New York City school teacher, and that's it.
You want to run out that dream?
We love it. It's a great area.
Does anyone have any questions? Any questions of the board?
I move the hearing be closed, matter placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once rendered.
Thank you.
I second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next, we have case 533 of 24, Levittown Muse Associates LP, variance in off-street parking, construct one-story retail building, also known as 3333, 3335, and 3349 Hempstead Turnpike.
I think you left out a 3.
Wow.
Good afternoon, members of the board. William Benesso for Chelly Deegan Tirana, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York. Here on behalf of the applicant, Levittown Muse Associates LP, Seated to my right is Mr. Kean Cody. Mr. Cody is a transportation engineer with the engineering firm of R&M Engineering. Mr. Cody works with Wayne Muller, who this board is very familiar with and has testified on many occasions and been qualified as an expert. Mr. Cody has been here with Mr. Muller on several occasions, but has never testified as an expert here. That said, he's been qualified as an expert in the town of North Hempstead, by their zoning board, in the town of Oyster Bay, by their zoning board, and in multiple other jurisdictions in Suffolk County. We're asking that he be qualified as a traffic expert today for the purposes of providing expert opinion testimony. If the board has any questions for Mr. Cody about his qualifications, we're prepared to answer those, but
Tell
we
me
feel
briefly about his qualifications.
I'm sorry?
He's a professional engineer or something to that effect?
I am an EIT with 6 years at R&M Engineering under Wayne Muller, currently preparing for the PE exam.
He's taking the PE exam, but he's been with them for 6 years.
Wayne Muller teach you anything?
Plenty. Definitely a good amount. Wayne's great.
Okay.
Who taught him?
We'll qualify you as an expert in
Thank
real
you.
estate traffic.
As noted, the applicant is Levittown Muse Associates LP. That is the entity that owns the shopping center known as the Levittown Muse on the north side of Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown. It is a Breslin Realty shopping center. Mr. Bob Rosenberg is here from Breslin Realty, should the board have any questions of him. But this is a very straightforward application. They are seeking to add a pad site retail building to the shopping center. It is situated on the east side of the shopping center property. It is proposed to be 4,830 square feet, 1 story, but basically plain vanilla box retail building. Because it is both new retail space and because it's taking up 15 parking spaces that presently exist, it triggers the need for a further parking variance on the site. The property presently is approved with a 20% parking variance based upon the last application, which was about 1.5 years ago when a fitness center was approved by this board to be added to the site. That was Jammin' Fitness. That is there and operating now. This site triggers about a 25% variance, which, based on other approvals that this board has issued, is well within the limits of what works for retail shopping centers. And as you'll hear from Mr. Cody, it'll certainly work. The parking provided will certainly work for this site. The parking provided is 405 spaces. With the addition of this building and the removal of 15 spaces, it brings the requirement to 506 spaces. So it's 101 space deficiency, or basically, as I said, a 25% variance. That said, there is a traffic report that's been submitted, which when it was performed back in 2023, it calculated the building as half retail, half restaurant, and still there was justification for it. At that time, that's what they were proposing, but when the application was actually filed earlier this year, it was filed strictly as retail. So that actually reduced the parking requirement and makes the variance that much smaller than what was addressed in the parking study. I've had Mr. Cody, and he'll testify in a moment, I've had Mr. Cody look at the numbers as strictly a retail building, and it even improves the application further. So unless the board has any questions about what's proposed, I'll turn it over to Mr. Cody.
So this is strictly going to be retail?
Strictly retail. If they come back and need and want to do any kind of restaurant use, they'll have to come back to this board.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Cody?
Just for the record, Kean Cody of R&M Engineering. Our office is at 50 Elm Street in Huntington, New York. I do have additional copies, if the board doesn't have copies with them, of the traffic impact study that was prepared.
It's been submitted already, right?
Yes. In advance of the 30-day requirement.
Yes. Well done.
As Mr. Benesso went over, the proposed action is a 4,830 square feet pad site on the east side of the shopping center. The traffic impact study was prepared, splitting it down the middle between a restaurant and a retail use. At that time, the study was prepared. As such, any results in the study we think are fairly conservative, and I'd like to go through our findings from that study. Briefly, we did do a full traffic impact study as it is on a state roadway. That included observations at the two existing driveways, a central driveway and a western driveway, both onto Hempstead Turnpike. We did a standard traffic impact study with a capacity analysis, which involved studying the existing volumes, which we studied in May of 2023 during the AM, midday, and PM commuter peak periods, and then the midday on the Saturday. What we found was, after the existing volumes and then filling out the vacant spaces that were in the shopping center based off the information provided by the applicant, then adding in the traffic for the retail and the restaurant use, that it would have no significant impact on the roadway network. In terms of a pure retail building, we'd only expect the trip generation for the just under 5,000 square foot building to be 11 trips in the AM, 18 trips in the midday, 32 trips in the PM period, and 32 trips on the Saturday. So we're looking at well under the 100 trip mark, which we consider insignificant. And based off our observations, it would have not had a significant impact on the operation of Hempstead Turnpike. In terms of parking, we also did parking observations on the same days in May of 2023. We did the observations between 11 a.m. and I believe 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. on both the Friday and the Saturday that were observed. We found the peak period occurred on the Saturday, at which time there are 252 vehicles parked. We estimated the parking activity associated with any of the vacancies within the existing shopping center. At the time, there was going to be a nail salon, I believe, another restaurant use, a auto parts store, and another fitness use going into the shopping center. We used the Institute of Transportation Engineers Parking Generation Manual at the time, the fifth edition, to calculate the estimated parking demand associated with each of those 4 vacant uses, and added that in. In total, that was going to amount to 51 vehicles parked during the weekday period and 48 on the Saturday period, bringing the peak period up on the Saturday to 300 vehicles parked out of the 405 future spaces. That, in conjunction with the building being 4,800 square feet of retail being proposed, which would result in 15 additional vehicles parked on the Friday or 13 on the Saturday, bringing the total sum of the site up to 313 vehicles during the peak time, which leaves about 92 spaces vacant in the future condition, or about 77% occupied. With about 100 vacant spaces left in the shopping center, we believe there'd be more than adequate space still remaining to accommodate the future uses.
So, just to summarize, you looked at the existing uses, you looked at the vacancies and factored in the parking that they would generate, the parking demand that they would generate, and then you looked at the demand that the new building would generate, and you still came up with a significant surplus of parking. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Have you observed the traffic entrance, the way it flows? There are 2 islands. You
Yes.
familiar with that? That really don't belong there, in my opinion, because you cannot enter smoothly into the premise. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you referring to the islands that come off the bigger entrance on Hempstead Turnpike?
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
They're not aligned correctly.
They're kind of right in the middle of the aisle.
Yes.
He's talking about these two? Yeah.
And if this is approved, there'll be obviously new construction, and perhaps that can be addressed at the same time.
Well, I think, but moving those would actually reduce the number of parking spaces.
It would, but right now, it's a hazard.
Right. Well, I would say that, I would tell you that if in fact an application is going to be brought for a modified use of the building, let's say it's a restaurant or something, I think it could certainly be addressed there at that time. I don't know that just doing that now, which would trigger a higher parking variance, which would mean we'd have to come back here. I don't know that would be something that
Okay,
the applicant would want to do.
why don't you consult with your client
Yeah.
and your engineer and figure out if that could be reconfigured, because it's a hazard.
In other words, keep the same number of parking spaces, but reconfigure the islands that you're talking about?
Something
May I
like
approach,
that.
just to make sure we're talking about the same islands?
I mean, you're not going to lose that, I don't think you'll lose that many spaces if you reconfigure the island. Mr. Benesso? She's talking. Yeah, see, it's in the middle.
So it's queuing up here.
Yes. It doesn't allow a queue. This queue slides over to that.
Okay.
Because this is in the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they could eliminate it, I don't care. It's just, it's an obstruction. She's gonna, no. So what do you think?
Thank
we
you
ha-
for the opportunity to speak.
We have
speak
an
with my client.
understanding that you might shift the medium or possibly do without it. and-
Yes, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to, and if it's a feasible solution, we'll put together a plan and submit it as a request for modification.
Thank you. And if it requires or triggers additional variance and increases the variance in
Right.
off-street parking from what we hear today, that would be perfectly acceptable to the board, assuming that they approve it.
Thank you very much. That's our direct presentation. If the board has any further questions, we're available. Mr. Rosenberg is available, but that's our direct presentation.
Any questions from the board?
No. I move the hearing be closed, matter placed on the decision calendar. You and your client will be notified by mail of the board's decision once rendered.
Thank you. Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
You'll be notified when they render their decision, but we're going to hold it, actually.
Next, we have cases 53424 through 53824, Belmore, Mary Donato. Variance, lot area occupied. Construct addition and portico, both attached dwelling. Variances, height, lot area occupied, percentage of rear yard occupied. Construct addition to detached garage. Variances, lot area occupied. Maintain shed with less than required side and rear yard setbacks. Special exception to maintain second accessory shed, a structure shed with less than required rear yard setback, and lot area occupied variance. Variance side yard, maintain 2 AC units, both attached to dwelling, also known as 2470 Grand Avenue.
Hello again. Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Ashley Lowe. I am here on behalf of Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here today on behalf representing for my clients Thomas and Mary Donato, who are the owners and occupants of the subject property located at 2470 Grand Avenue in Belmore. We are here today as a result of an application to construct a rear one-story addition, proposed portico, detached garage extension, and legalizations. The proposed lot coverage is 39.49%, where only 27.5% is allowed, for which we require a variance of 11.99%. The existing lot coverage as the house currently stands is 41.32%. The lot coverage, including the garage extension, is 42.86%, making it our largest percentage, requesting a variance of 15.36%. For the garage extension, the rear yard coverage is 56.87%, where 40% maximum is allowed in a Residence B zone, for which we are requesting 16.87% of relief. The existing coverage is 59.36%, and it is being reduced to 56.87 as we are removing a 200-square-foot metal roof over. Additionally, the height for the garage is...
Where's the metal roof over?
So if you're looking at the plans,
I am.
the metal roof over is where the garage extension is going to be. Can I
see it.
approach?
The dotted lines. I see it.
Yes, the dotted lines.
See it now. Thank you.
You got it. The height, additionally, the height for the garage is 14.8 feet, where a maximum height of 12 feet is allowed, for which we are requesting 2.8 feet of relief. The frame shed A, which is located in the rear left corner of the property when you are looking at the plot plan, has a side yard setback of 0.94 feet, where 2 feet is required, for which we request 1.06 feet of relief. Additionally, the rear yard setback is 1.06 feet, where 2 feet is required, for which we request 0.94 feet of relief. Frame shed B, which is located side by side of frame shed A, also in the corner of the lot, has an existing rear yard setback of 1.13 feet, where 2 feet is required, for which we are requesting 0.87 feet of relief. Lastly, there are 2 AC units located on the west side of the property. Both units have a side yard setback requiring relief. AC Unit A has a side yard setback of 3.14 feet, where 5 feet is required, for which we are requesting relief of 1.86 feet. And AC Unit B has a side yard setback of 3.24 feet, where 5 feet is required, for which we are requesting, for which we are requesting 1.76 feet of relief for that unit.
There's 2 existing metal roof over attached to the house. Existing
Over the,
metal,
yes, over the stoop.
and that needs a variance also.
Hold on 1 second.
Christina, could I? Oops.
No, it doesn't. Why would that even in a variance?
I've been told that in your calculations, that is attached, and it is roofed over covered stoop in the rear, that it's included 28 square feet.
Yes.
So you got out of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, is this a one-family or a two-family?
A one family.
Why do they need the,
Can I finish, or?
it's a good question. Go for it. Why do they need this proposed addition attached to the dwelling? It's asking for a lot.
I'm sorry, which are you asking? What are
The
you asking about?
proposed, the proposed one-story addition attached to the dwelling.
So, I didn't know if if you guys needed a second or not. So, okay, can I answer your question?
Sure, go ahead.
I apologize. When you first asked the question, I didn't know if you were asking about the addition that's attached to the home or if you were asking about the garage extension. But the one-story addition is really just a portico and an entryway. It's not, it's really just to allow for more space. They have a very large family.
It's a two-family. There's two kitchens. There's a kitchen on the second floor and a kitchen on the first floor.
This is not enough.
And thank you, Mrs. Adams, for seeing that.
Yeah, because it looks as if back in, this house was built in 33, the garage was done in 35, and then in 2012, there was converted from a one-family to a two-family.
You're right. I apologize. Yes, when you asked the question, I thought you meant is if we were here for a two-family
Oh.
application, which we're not.
But it
I
is a
apologize.
two-family
Yes.
house.
Now, let's see.
It's a finished basement.
It's a finished basement?
Yes. There is not. Yes, it's a laundry room, there's a bathroom, there's no kitchen.
Full bathroom, laundry room. No bedrooms down there?
No. A portion of it is a crawl space, and then the other portion of it is a finished basement.
And the entrance to the basement is from the inside of the house?
Yes.
The garage that exists now, is that one car or two car?
I believe it's technically like a 1.5, you would say, but it only fits one car. The rest of it's used for it was used for storage when I was there.
So there's 4 entrances to the house. Front elevation, rear elevation, side elevation.
There's not.
It looks like the one at side elevation
There's
goes
2 doors.
directly into the basement.
When I went to the home, I went in through the home. To the basement, I don't remember going in through that side door. To the basement, I went in through the house and then out the back door. But also, hold on 1 second.
You're getting your exercise today. back on the record. The proposed garage extension, what purpose does that serve?
There's, so there is one existing car in there. It's to allow for another car and more storage. If you look on the cross-section of page A1, if you have the garage plans, do you? If not, it will approach. But it does show that they are looking to be able to kind of work on the car in, I don't know what it's called, forgive me, when you can put the car on one on top of each other. Sure, yeah, I'll let, we'll go with that.
Well-
And for additional storage.
So then they would have a two-car garage plus an addition which would have a lift.
It would just be the two cars stacked on top of it, and then the rest would be used for storage. You wouldn't have the two cars side by side, they'd be on top of each other.
What kind of, are they antique cars?
I don't know if they're antique, they're collectibles. At least one's a sports car. I'm not a car person, but yeah, I don't know if they're antique, but yeah, they're collectibles for sure.
Is that your case?
I finished earlier, so I'm just gonna read my last little bit.
Questions, answers?
Did we discuss the AC units? I don't think I read for AC Unit B, so I'm just going to read it again, so it's on the record. AC Unit B has a side yard setback of 3.24 feet, where 5 feet is required. We are requesting 1.76 feet of relief for that unit. The Donatos have raised their children at this property, and it is going to be their forever home. We respectfully request approval of these items and appreciate your consideration. We'd also like to note that we have spoken with the neighbors that are within 200 feet. They do not have any issues with the plans as they are proposed. That completes our request. I'm happy to answer any questions. I did. I have them as well if you need them. No, they're already been submitted. But if you wanted them, it's, all the photos were submitted are in that packet. Okay, no worries. It's a lot of paperwork.
Are they metal sheds?
No, they're frame, like plastic sheds we buy at Home Depot.
SH. Okay.
Is the owner of the home, is he a mechanic?
Not that I know of.
Is he going to do any work?
I believe that he works for one of the villages, actually. He works for the village of Amityville.
Is he going to do any work at the house on cars?
Maybe tinkering on his own car, but he won't be running like a mechanic shop. I don't know.
Okay.
He works for one of the villages. He's,
Because what I can see on the side of the house, it's a lot of car parts.
yeah, I think he's just a collector. He's not, doing oil changes in his garage by any means.
Are there any questions from the board members?
Question. I still can't, in my mind, figure why he needs the garage extended, and then he also has two big metal sheds back there. Is there a way there could be a compromise, maybe take one of the sheds out? It seems like a lot of space back there.
He does.
I would be I can't say for sure, but I'd be happy to bring them to. I understand. Yes. I would be happy to ask if we could remove one of the sheds, absolutely. Does it, would you prefer one over the other? Maybe
Yeah.
shed
It's a hood.
A over the other, just because shed A has the two variances? Okay. Storage. I understand.
Any further questions? I
Like to make a motion?
make a motion, please.
I move the hearing be closed, matter placed on the decision calendar. You and your clients will be notified by mail of the board's decision once rendered.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay?
Okay,
Nay.
thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
What is this?
Next, we have case 32324, Roosevelt North LLC. Variances, front yard setback on Washington Avenue and Astor Place, maintain enclosed porch and addition, both attached dwelling, also known as 293 Washington Avenue.
Okay, my name is Brian McCormick.
That's better.
How you doing? Brian McCormick. My address is 293 Washington Avenue, Roosevelt, New York, 11575.
Okay, Brian, Mr. McCormick,
How's it going? How you doing?
we're
Good,
doing
how are
well.
you?
Please, why do you need this maintain a porch addition?
Okay, so I'm here today because we're applying for a variance for we're applying for a variance for a setback for our property because this property line setback was 25, supposed to be 25 feet from the property line, and it's stating that it's only 23 feet or something like that because of the bump out window. However, this bump out window was, when we purchased the house, this house was built in 1910, and this bump out window was there as existing on the property plan, on the property sheets from, we looked up online when we first purchased the property, and there was no plans, just something drawn at that point.
I think what is before us is the addition on Washington Avenue, not the one on Astor.
Oh, it says, oh, yes, I'm sorry, the front,
It's
yes,
okay.
the corner, because it's a corner house, I'm sorry, it's a corner house, and that front piece is on the corner at the
Right.
house, so we weren't sure because it said Astor Place on the variance, if they were talking about the Washington corner or the Astor corner. But it's 25 feet, there's no less, it's less than 25 feet on both corners either way.
Yes. And perhaps the reason that Washington Avenue is because the property line is at an angle,
Correct.
and it diminishes that front yard because of this addition to 12 feet, .7 inches.
Correct, and also that front porch area was also already there when we purchased the property.
Okay?
I'm sorry, said, February, no, we purchased in about a year ago. We've been, within the last year. No problem.
And what do you use the addition for?
It's just like a living, not a living space, but like we just use it like a porch area, as far as like a sunroom type of thing. Just kind of like a foyer almost, just for hanging up your stuff if you need to. Just an area to sit if we can, that type of thing.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah. Have you removed that wood shed?
Yes, the woodshed was taken down, correct.
It's been removed?
Yes, yes, it was.
Okay.
We provided pictures and documentation to the portal afterwards.
The pictures there. you have a picture with the shed removed?
Man, I should.
Take the phone.
I'd like to see what it looks like.
Yeah, what kind of phone is it?
Did you ask it if it's a one-family house or there's one-family?
No. What you would want to ask. All right, Mr. McCormick?
Yes.
Right, well, when was the shed removed?
I got the date here also. Should have, we removed it a few months after, well, we got a note from the plan examiner saying we had to remove the shed because we didn't put it in the plan. We had planned to remove it anyway, and then afterwards, when we didn't add it into the plot plan. We had to remove it, and I think that was around the springtime.
Okay, so as of today, that shed's removed?
Yes, that shed is removed. correct.
Okay, and this is a one-family house?
Yes.
And there's only one family living there?
Yes, right now. It's labeled as a two-family, I think, on the, but there's only one family living there. There's only my family living there right now.
No, it's a one-family. That's what, I don't know, that's labeled as a two-family. Which brings me to the next. You have a non-conforming decision, and you have to complete all the items on a non-conforming in order to close that out.
Correct.
Application is part of that.
Part of that, yes.
So you're aware of that.
Correct. Everything else on that list should be checked off already, because we think this is the last thing, I think, before we could move forward with the non-conforming.
Good job.
Trying to do my best.
Are there any questions from the board?
I make a motion to close the hearing. The matter will be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once we render it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're welcome. Break a leg.
Okay. Now we have cases 42024 Wanta, 21 Nata Boulevard LLC, variances, subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, front yard average setback, construct dwelling with garage, demolish existing dwelling, lot 1, formerly known as 3461 Locust Avenue, as well as case 42124 Wanta, 21 Nata Boulevard LLC, variances, subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, front yard average setback, construct dwelling with garage, lot 2, also known as north side Locust Avenue, 472.26 feet west of Oakland Avenue.
Yes, I do.
State your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. Christian Brown, McLaughlin and Stern, 1122 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, for the applicant.
Mr.
This is-
Brown, do you have an
yes.
expert by any
Uh,
chance?
I don't, but this is really just a case where there's only one variance involved, and it's just the street frontage of the lot. The proposed lots are both oversized lots.
Yeah, but don't you need that for a description, area character?
Well, my opinion is sort of self-evident here. I can explain to you why I think so. It's a very
Truth, self-evident.
minor request in my opinion.
Okay, it's.
But
you're-
I'll present,
it's-
the board can,
It's, no.
if you'd like further information.
No, it's your case and
Thank you.
you present it.
And of course, if the board wanted further information, we could continue the hearing if necessary and supplement if that was required. But
It's 100% your case.
thank you. So this is a subdivision case. The property is 3461 Locust Avenue in Wantagh. As you can see on the radius map, it abuts the commercial, or the business district just to the west and to the north. It's basically a block south of Sunrise Highway. We're proposing to subdivide the property into two lots of basically roughly equal size. Lot 1 would be 7,314 square feet, and Lot 2 would be 7,089 square feet. Now, a little bit of a curveball here. This is a Residence A district, one of the rare instances of the Residence A district. So the requirements for the Residence A district are not substantially different than Residence B. There are some deviations. So the lots both, as I said, are oversized. They exceed the minimum by over 1,000 square feet each. The street frontage requirement in B is 55 feet, and in A is 60 feet. So there's an additional 5 feet required for street frontage, and that is the principal variance that we require here. We're proposing street frontages for both lots of just under 48 feet apiece, 47.26 feet to be precise. So this property is a dilapidated, sort of derelict property. As I noted, it's one off of the business district. The property was lost in a tax lien sale. The prior owner lost it for failure to pay taxes. My client purchased it from the tax lien holder. He is a local builder, and he's proposing to build two new colonial-style, single-family homes on the property, on these lots of over 7,000 square feet. The homes themselves comply with all of the zoning requirements, except for the front yard average setback, where they're slightly off. We're proposing a 33-foot setback, where the average on the block is 37.5. But if you look at the little chart that we've provided on your plot plan, we would be right there in the average, except one lot that's 2 doors down, lot 520, has a setback of 51.2 feet, which is an outlier for the block. All the others are in the 30s, right around what we're proposing. Lot 519 is 30.2 feet. Lot 40 is 34.7 feet. Lot 35 is 33.9 feet. And again, we're proposing 33, but that 50-foot setback throws off the average, so they're slightly off. But other than that, they comply with all of the zoning requirements for the Residence A district. As I noted, the vicinity here is both residential and commercial in nature, abutting the business zone to the north and to the west, and you do have a variety of lot sizes and a number of non-conforming frontages. So 2 doors down at lot 5, make sure that's 520. You have a 40-foot frontage. Then a little further down, right at the edge of the 200 feet on the same side of Locust Avenue, you have a 50-foot frontage. Across the street on Locust Avenue, Lot 5, that's the Greco Junior lot, is a 50-foot frontage. You have a 50-foot frontage at the other end of the 200-foot radius on the other side of Seaford Avenue, a 50-foot frontage. Now, of course, when you go to the west, that's all commercial property, so those lots are somewhat different in character. So this area is not the typical, sort of uniform residential area that we typically see, but you do have a variety of
of street frontages, some larger, there are some 60s, but then as I noted, you have a 40, you have a couple of 50s, and we're proposing just under 48 feet at the street line. Otherwise, these lots are oversized lots, and the houses comply with the zoning requirement, with the exception of that minor front yard setback variance we need, just because, again, of that one house that's set back over 50 feet, and that skews the average. As I mentioned, the house on this property is dilapidated. I was just speaking to some of the neighbors. The property is also overgrown and quite a mess and an eyesore. So this proposal obviously will allow it to be cleaned up, and you will have two brand-new single-family homes with nice, deep backyards of 60 feet. They'll be fenced with the standard legal 6-foot fencing, and I think because it'll be a cleanup for a property that's been for some time derelict, again, was lost for non-payment of taxes, it will be a benefit to the neighborhood, and it does not in any way negatively change the nature and character of the area, because the relief we're seeking is fairly minor and is not out of character with the other frontages in the 200-foot radius. I would also mention that the applicant will accept all of the usual subdivision conditions, including that there be no basement entrance, although none is proposed here, and the requirement that the homes be, upon sale, contain an owner-occupied covenant. We would accept those conditions along with the other standard subdivision conditions that the board typically imposes were you to grant this case. I spoke to one of the gentlemen who was here before, who was the neighboring property, commercial property owner to the west. He looked at the proposal and he decided to leave. He has no objections. I've spoken to these neighbors as well, and I'll let them speak for themselves.
On lot 2, you have a cutout back there? I mean, like, is that another little lot going back into DVZ Holdings?
No, I think that's just the way that that tax lot, you mean that slight extension of the lot there?
Yeah,
I
does
guess
that belong to lot 2?
It does, yes. As far as that's what the survey indicates. That it's made up of two separate tax lots, and that tax lot goes back slightly farther.
Okay.
You folks who signed in, folks who signed in, do you wish to be heard? You want to speak? Come on up. Miss-
Thank you. My name is Brianna Smith, 3471 Locust Avenue, Wanto, New York, 11793. I am the property that is directly to the east of this property. So I wanted more information on what is going on, because the only information that we had was about the hearing today on the lawn.
Did you get a chance to look at any of the paperwork and it?
He just showed me a picture that he had, which I took a picture on my phone, but I have not been in contact with the builder, the current owner. We had an idea that they wanted to subdivide it because of the notices that we got, but we had no other information past that.
And I went over the nature of the application with her, and I gave her my card, and I offered to connect her with the builder, who is now the owner of the property. As I mentioned, he bought it from the tax lien holder, and the builder would be it's a local builder in Merrick, and he would be improving the property and then selling the two new homes, should the board approve it, with the owner-occupied and other covenants that we would agree to.
Yeah, this is my property. Yeah.
And they had, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd voiced some concerns about making sure that the property was cleaned up because it's quite overgrown, correct?
Currently, it is quite overgrown. Yes, there are trees. I believe that currently, there's one specific tree that I'm not sure if it's on both of our properties, so that would need to be a discussion.
But the overgrowth and all of the other refuse and so forth, of course, will be cleaned up as part of the project,
When?
as soon as construction starts.
No. If the property is unkempt now, it should be cleaned up now.
I think my understanding is the main source of the eyesore is trees and bushes and so forth,
It
correct?
is, but it is very unkempt, and there are animals that do live in that area because it is so overgrown.
Is the grass cut or anything?
The grass is cut not on a weekly basis, but it is kept up more so than it had been in the past. The fence that's separating the two lots, it is falling in the back.
Can you address that, or have your client address that?
Sure, I will put them in touch, and if any cleanup needs to be done now, we'll do it, and of course, we will have new fencing installed as part of the application. We'd accept that as a condition as well, that we have legal fencing installed on both property lines.
Is there an exterior basement entrance?
No, I don't believe any is proposed, and I spoke to my client about it earlier today, and we would accept a condition that there not be any exterior basement entrances. There should not be one.
Yes. Are you folks interested in this case as well?
They're my parents.
You represent them?
Yeah.
You're the daughter?
No, this is my house.
Oh, that's your house?
Yes.
But what about those folks?
They just
Oh.
came with me.
Wow, you let them speak for you? Let her speak for you?
No, it's her house.
No, it's
It's
her.
my
It's your
house.
house, okay. I'm sorry.
I lived there for 7 years. I
they're the-
purchased it 7 years ago.
They're support people.
Yes.
Take a look at that. That's the house plans that they propose. You have any questions, you could ask Mr. Brown or Dawn. They're both familiar with reading the plans.
So there is no basement.
No, there's a basement.
Oh, okay. There's just an egress, yeah. No, that's fine.
Here comes Mama.
Am I allowed to keep this, or this is for you? This is for you.
No,
Okay.
that's ours.
Originally, when they said they were going to subdivide the property, because I've been to the house so many times.
We need your name and address for the record.
You could go to the mic.
Okay, now, if you go there, please.
Hi, is it on?
Name and address.
And my name's Susan Bernstein Smith, 1079 Johnston Avenue, Wantagh, New York. So at Brianna's house, the property is so long that it seemed to me to make sense, and I don't know this contractor or the person
Okay.
who. I would have assumed they would have put one house in the front of the property and one house in the back of the property with a very long driveway up the side to get to the second property. So that, I don't know why they would need a different thing with the curb appeal that Mr. Brown was talking about. That was my opinion. We never got a chance to talk to anyone who owned the property since,
That'd be a flag lot.
it's been taken over.
Okay. That's not an issue that is before us, so to speak. It's the
Correct.
subdivision of the lot.
Right.
Mr. Brown can certainly consult with his clients.
Well,
it's
as
a
I
little bit-
mentioned before, I think
You're saying
this-
it meets all the requirements.
Well, this is a more, although we're slightly off in that frontage, this is really what the zoning requires. I don't think the board would be as pleased with an application where there was one house behind the other. That's really not permitted under the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
They call that a flag lot, so that's why it would not be, it would be a more difficult application, and I think frowned upon here. This is more typical, of course, of what you see, and that's because the code requires you to have, each lot to have frontage on the street, not to be one house behind the other.
Mostly because of the overgrowth. I was hoping that they will clean all the way back to the end of that next door property.
Yes, that will be done.
Okay.
So what Mr. Brown just said is true. We would frown upon that. This is a more palatable application.
Do you have new address numbers proposed? Or because the addresses are not in order on that street?
That would be done if this is approved and after subdivision completion, there's a new address is assigned by the post office
It's assigned by the Highway Department.
or Highway Department. I never could figure out the
Well,
addresses.
it's the Highway Department,
Just because the addresses are not in order, so.
and they may not be.
Okay.
Any other comments about the house, or do you want to make? Here's the time.
I just really wanted more information because there was lack of communication or knowledge of who even purchased the house, so.
Okay? And Mr. Brown's going to tell his client to
Yes.
straighten it up
Yes, and I said I would connect them directly.
tomorrow.
I'll do it today.
Okay.
So,
And
thank
then
you for
they'll-
sharing this information.
They'll get to it hopefully next week.
Great.
Yeah, I think so. No, we have an applicant's exhibit. Can she keep that? No. No, it isn't. Me neither. You keep that, and when they start building, if they deviate from that, you have to let them know.
Perfect, thank you. I appreciate it.
You be big brother.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from the board?
Nope. I move the hearing be closed, the matter placed on the decision calendar. You will all be notified of the board's decision once rendered.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
Not really. I like to lighten it up a little.
I know.
I think it's a good idea. To lighten it up a little bit.
Are you proud of us?
Hearing be closed, and we'll take 5 minutes for the decisions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Are you afraid to go out? Oh, boy.
Are you in trouble?
This is reminiscent. Case number 528, 2024, Wantor American Legion, Post 1273. They want a LED reader board sign. It's at 3484 Park Avenue in Wantor. Any discussion?
I make a motion in file number 528, Wanto American Legion, Post 1273, maintain one double detached base illuminated sign with LED message board, 5 years with conditions.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Next case, case 529 and 530 of 2024 in Atlantic Beach. It's at 88 Rochester Avenue. I think it'd be wise to hold this on reserve.
To inspect?
To inspect it and to re-review the plans again. Case number 531, 532 in Merrick Avenue LLC. It's been adjourned to 10/23 at 2 p.m. And it also needs clarification, so the young lady is going to work with Patrick. Case number 533 of 2024, Levittown Muse Associated. That's on 33 to 333, 3335, 33. I did? And Benesso's at 333 Earl Albin. It's like, whoa. So. Benesso's going to work out some type of a plan to maybe alter the islands in the roadway, and he's going to communicate with his, with the owner of the property and get back to us with a possible plan, alternate plan. So we'll keep that on reserve decision. Case 350, 534 and to 538 in Belmore, Mary Donato. Several variances at 2470 Grand Avenue in Belmore. Any discussion? We'll take a, hold that one. I think we need to inspect that. Case number, on the 2 p.m. adjournment calendar, case 32324 North LLC in Roosevelt. Construct additions to a dwelling. It's located at 293 Washington Avenue in Roseville. Any discussion?
No, he said that, that wooden shed was taken down, so I guess.
We can rely on that. Plus, his plans show that anyway, so if he didn't do it, he'd get caught. Yeah. So-
Okay, I make a motion to move case 32324 Roosevelt, variances front yard setback on Washington Avenue, Astor Place, maintain enclosed porch in addition, both attached to dwelling, the northeast corner of Washington Avenue, Astor Place, and I guess it's granted.
Second?
Second.
Requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Now, subdivision, case number 420 and 421, 21 Nano Boulevard LLC. It is a subdivision, maintain a house at 3461 Locust Avenue and construct a house adjacent to this.
No,
No, this is the,
There are two new
this is the
houses.
one in
Oh, I'm
Seafood
sorry,
next
I
to the commercial
apologize.
area.
Demo.
They're short 7 feet on each front.
Yeah. That's the formerly known as, was
They all
what
made nice.
confused me. Well, thanks a lot, Dawn.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good luck with your son moving him
Oh, yeah.
Where's he moving?
in. Okay.
Go back to school.
It's early, isn't it? It's only August, like 6th.
Okay, so, any discussion on these cases? Subdivision, construct two dwellings.
I think it's a commercial area and the neighbors made nice. It's gonna be, two new houses will be better than one crappy one that's got animals running through it as the people next door and underbrush there, you know. I figure we should do it. you know.
Okay,
That's my
anybody
opinion.
else have anything that want to comment?
I agree with Mark.
Make a motion, file number 420 of 24, 421 of 24, 21 Nada Boulevard LLC variances, subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front line setback, front yard average setback, et cetera, be granted with conditions.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay?
He also, we should put down that he's gonna clean up the lot right away.
Yes, I
That's
think-
what he said he was gonna do.
He got that message, and if, we'll follow through with that if you,
Because at the end, they seem to get along, the neighbors and
Yes.
everybody, so we don't wanna kill that momentum.
got it.
Do you want to go back to? Yeah, 524, 24, page 2, second from the bottom.
Yes.
424, in between sessions, I did confer with the highway department, and a driveway is not required for single-family dwellings.
Now we know. So, we'll call case 524 of 24, 525 of 24, Robert DeBarro, maintain accessory structure that...
No, it's that one above.
524.
Oh, there it is. Thanks a lot. Case 52424, stutter. Marie Bacchio, Family Trust. It is a front yard average setback to maintain an enclosed porch. It's located at 75 Sherman Street in Merrick. All those having an interest, any comments?
Okay, case 52424 Merrick, Marie Baccio Family Trust, Anthony Baccio. Variance average front yard setback, maintain enclosed porch attached to dwelling. So it's granted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
They want to sell the house.
Yeah.
Is it Patrick? Oh, man.
So, remember last year, we had a request for modification for a sign Knights of Columbus, the Memorare Club. I believe you and Ms. Mono had a question whether it would trigger height with their modification. It won't.
Good. So is this on reserve?
No, this was just a modification request,
Oh,
so we're holding up on it.
so we have a request for modification, which is what Patrick just said. It is going to be, wow, what is 66 and 48?
It's 6 inches.
It's 9 feet 6 inches. It's a illuminated sign. This is just a modification for the height. This is previously granted with the conditions that were imposed for the illuminated LED reader board or sign. So,
Are they changing the configuration?
There was that, and there was also the...
Oh, the dimmer.
Right, so we asked them to turn the sign off completely at night because of they went and spoke with the company, they can't turn it off because they'll mess with the battery. So they would bring it down to 10% at night, so it's not...
less bugs. We have a motion to approve this modification.
I move.
Yes, Leslie?
No, no.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Aye. Uh,
Whoever looks at signs.
Yeah, because I always read them and it's like, which way you going? close this calendar and adjourn to August 21st.
Second. Can you do that as chair? Aye.
I can. You mean I can?